All right, so let's get right into it. You see pictures every year, right? World leaders and CEOs all gathered in the snowy mountains of Davos, Switzerland. But you're probably wondering, what on earth do their fancy high-level talks have to do with me? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to translate what happened at the 2026 World Economic Summit into what it actually means for American businesses and, more importantly, for your wallet.
And just so you know where we're getting our info, this is part 5 of a 10-part series. It's all based on a really deep dive research report from Virtualization Options LLC. They've done the heavy lifting, analyzing the summit's impact on U.S. business and consumers, and we're here to break down the most important bits for you.
It's a totally fair question. I mean, it feels a world away, doesn't it? A bunch of powerful people talking policy in some fancy mountain resort. But the truth is, what happens in Davos definitely doesn't stay in Davos.
And here's why. The sheer scale of this thing is just mind-boggling. We are talking about an assembly of the world's biggest power brokers, all in one place, making decisions that are going to ripple across the entire global economy for years.
Just look at the numbers for a second. More than 60 heads of state were there. These are the actual leaders making national policy, the ones setting the course for their countries on the world stage.
And if that wasn't enough, add to that over 830 CEOs from the world's biggest companies. These are the folks deciding where to build factories, who to hire, and what things cost. When they're all in the same room as those world leaders, yeah, big things are going to happen.
This quote right here really nails it. The decisions made in Davos aren't just abstract ideas. They trickle all the way down and directly into your life. We're talking about the price of gas, the security of your job, even the technology you're using every single day.
So, what had all these leaders so worried? Well, they were looking at some pretty serious economic headwinds, the exact same ones that are probably making things feel a little shaky for a lot of us right now.
The big topics on the agenda were things like rising geopolitical tensions, this general feeling of economic uncertainty that's hanging in the air, those frustrating supply chain disruptions, and of course, the huge impact of trade tariffs. And look, these aren't just buzzwords. These are the real forces shaping our economy as we speak.
Let's take tariffs, for example. This slide breaks it down perfectly. It's a straight line from international policy right to your pocket. First, tariffs get increased. That makes the cost to import goods go up. Then, businesses have to adapt, and let's be real, they usually adapt by passing that cost on. And that's exactly when you see prices for everyday items start to change. It's a simple, direct chain reaction.
Okay, so with all these massive challenges on the table, it's pretty easy to feel cynical, right? You might be thinking, was this just another big meeting where powerful people talked and talked with actually doing anything?
Well, surprisingly, the answer seems to be no. This summit wasn't just about admiring the problems. It was actually a launchpad for brand new agreements and big strategic shifts, all designed to try and forge a real path forward.
The official theme this year was a spirit of dialogue, and from everything we're seeing in the reports, that's what happened. The whole point was to move past the gridlock and actually get things done, and it looks like they made some real progress.
And you can see that progress in some concrete outcomes. For instance, new trade negotiations got started, like a really important dialogue between the US and Brazil, focusing on things like sustainable farming and biotech. We also saw major companies announce new strategies for resilience, committing to diversifying their supply chains so they aren't so vulnerable to one single point of failure. See? That's real action, not just talk.
Okay, so we've covered the global problems and the high-level solutions. But now, let's bring this all the way back home. What is the actual bottom line for you, the American consumer?
It really boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful idea. What happens on the world stage absolutely shapes your local reality. These huge global decisions have a direct impact on your financial stability and the opportunities available to you.
So to deal with all this, the experts behind the report say we all need something called an adaptive strategy. Just think of it like your personal game plan for navigating a fast-changing economy. It's all about being proactive instead of just reacting to whatever comes next.
So let's break down what that game plan actually looks like. These are the practical, real-world takeaways, the strategies you can start using today to build up your own economic resilience.
It really comes down to a few key things. First, keep diversifying your skills. It's the best way to boost your job security. Next, be really smart about managing debt, especially when the economy feels uncertain. You also want to leverage new technology for your own personal and professional growth. And of course, try to make informed, sustainable choices with your money. And finally, stay aware of the policies that directly impact your financial life.
Because at the end of the day, the economic future isn't something that just happens to you. Through all the choices you make, big and small, you actually have a hand in shaping it. Being informed is the first step. The real question is, what's your next move going to be?